It's time to get your champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. Now, can you dig that?
Boom! Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. As always, want to welcome everybody inside. Get your champagne wishes, caviar dreams. Man, we got a lot to talk about. UFC 309 went down this weekend, as well as we cannot not talk about what happened on Friday night with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul on Netflix. Okay, on Netflix. Brad, how you feel, dog?
Well, I mean, I feel good, Book. We can talk about it, but we'll talk about what happened on Friday because a lot of people didn't even get to see the fight because of Netflix, man. Come on, man.
You know what? I just went and watched it on Netflix today, and it was perfect.
Yeah, because it wasn't live.
Exactly.
I know they're going to get it together, but they should have. I think what happened with Netflix is I think they underestimated the amount of interest that this fight generated because at one point I read 65 million people were trying to watch this fight. That is a astronomical number.
Oh, man. You don't think they set up the bandwidth that actually handled that? You think they just say,
No.
look, ain't gonna be but a couple of 100,000 people watching this, and we ain't
No, I think they expected demand. I don't think they expected it to that amount. I really did, because if they did, then it wouldn't have gone down.
I can agree with you on that. You know what? I think they definitely shot themselves in the foot as far as, what are we to expect going forward with Netflix and the streaming thing? Come on.
Here's the thing too, is we know on Christmas Day they're having 2 NFL games, including the Texans playing the Ravens, I believe. And Beyonce was just announced today that she's performing at the halftime. So it's going to draw a rating on Christmas Day. It's going to draw a huge rating. So that's going to be the next big test for Netflix before WWE takes over in January. Now, I know WWE is probably not going to have 65 million people tuning into every Monday Night Raw. Tyson was its own thing. Yeah. But still, you want to make sure that those streamers are staying up, man.
I think they said they had 72,000 people
in the arena. Yeah,
in the arena. Yeah. Right. Man, that's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. Let's talk about the fight.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the fight. No. Went. Look here. It went almost exactly the way I thought it was going to go. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, I said Mike Tyson had 2 rounds in him. All right.
He had about a round and a half.
Jake Paul, I must say, he's a merciful man. He's a merciful man because he carried Mike Tyson for that 8th round. All right, he carried him. I mean, I can't say it any different than that. I think he could have got Mike Tyson out of there if he wanted to, but I think that would have really tarnished the reputation of Jake Paul throughout the rest of his life if he would have went out there and knocked Mike Tyson out. God forbid, hurt Mike Tyson. What do you think about that? Do you think he carried him? Do you think the fight was fixed? Because I heard it was look here. I heard it was a script came out. Look here, no. I was looking at some shorts, and at one point, Mike Tyson leaned in, or actually Jake Paul leaned in and looked like he perhaps whispered something in Mike Tyson's ear. I don't know. I can be wrong on that, but that's what it looked like.
Look,
do you think the fight was fixed?
I don't think it was fixed. If the fight was fixed, because Book, coming from pro wrestling, if the fight was fixed, I would have scripted this completely different. You know what I mean? I would have look, if there was a script, honestly, if there was a script, don't you think they would have scripted Mike to knock Jake down at least once, Jake to rally back, like to have a little bit more drama and not literally stand around.
Rocky Five.
Yes.
Rocky Five.
Little street fight action going.
Antonio Tarver. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There would have been a little bit more Rocky Balboa to it, and there wasn't that. So, no, I don't think that it was scripted. Now, do I think the other part of your question that you asked, do I think Jake Paul carried Mike Tyson? Absolutely. He absolutely did. Because I think it was maybe around 4 or 5, Mike started getting hit. Boom, 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 with a combination from Jake. His hands were kind of at the middle of his chest. He wasn't looking to block it. And that's when I was like, oof, this is not going to be pretty. Yeah. And I think Jake knew there. He's like, look, I have respect for this man. He's 58 years old. Obviously, I could end this fight if I wanted to right now. Because Jake, I don't know what he did, what kind of diet he was on, but my man was big. My guy had some arms on him. He looked like he came ready to fight.
He was huge. He definitely was a heavyweight, yeah.
And look, he's got some power in his hands. There's no doubt about that. We've seen him put guys down before. So, yes, could he have dropped Mike? I think that he could have. So, yeah, I respect Jake. I do. I respect Jake for.
Do you think so you think he did the right thing?
I think he did the right thing.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. We talked about going into this fight. This is kind of a lose-lose for Jake in a lot of ways. Like if you go out and you put Mike Tyson down, you beat up a 58, nearly 60-year-old man, somebody who's kind of universally loved, especially in the boxing world, doesn't really do well for you in any form or fashion. But the fact that Mike went 8 rounds, Jake won the fight, that was kind of like the best case scenario for both of them in a way.
It was a win. It was a win. It was a win for both guys. But for a second, literally a second, I saw flashes of the old Mike.
Oh, yeah. That first round. He nailed him a couple times, and it was like, oh, hey, look at that, man.
Actually, they said on the scorecard, they gave Mike the first round.
You know what? He did win the first round.
Okay.
Mike won the first round.
All right.
Second round, I saw they gave him. I don't know if I agree with that, but he definitely won the first round.
Yeah.
And I think it was a moral victory for Mike. And I know that's not something that the fans necessarily wanted to see. But Mike going 8 rounds after what we found out, had this multiple blood transfusions back in June. He said he almost died in the hospital, lost 20 pounds of weight, was able to come back several months later, fight a guy who's more than half his age and go 8 rounds, even if he got carried. Nevertheless, that's a win for Mike Tyson. And when he woke up the next morning, his bank account had $20 more million in it than it had the night before, which is also a win.
Yeah.
I know it's not all about the money, but that's also a win.
Oh, man. Like you said, moral victory for Mike. I think for Mike being able to go 8 rounds, I don't care if they're 2-minute rounds, people don't really understand what it takes to go into that square circle and do that, what those guys do. They say you don't play boxing. You really, truly don't. They talk about how much time you have to put in for a 10-round or a 12-round fight is something that I don't even want to even think about trying to do at 59 years old, Mike at 58. For Mike to be still standing, I don't care if he didn't even have anybody throwing punches back at him. If he just had to go in there and do 2-minute rounds for 8 rounds by himself, shadow boxing, if he was still standing up at the end of the 8, I'm serious. I give him a whole lot of credit just because I know how hard it is for me to get in the gym these days and really like bang it out. When I go in the gym today, like if I try to bang it out like I did when I was 30, I'm gonna be off for like 3 or 4 days. I mean, my body's just gonna react totally different, almost like in reverse of what it used to be. Now, if I work out one day, take off a day, work out a day, take off, I feel great. Mike Tyson had to literally pour everything into getting ready for this fight. And I'm sure that right there took everything out of him going into this fight. That's just my opinion.
I think you would agree with this. Well, let me ask you, Book, you would consider yourself in shape, right?
I'm in pretty good shape.
You're in good shape. Would you consider yourself in ring shape?
No.
2 different things, right?
Not at all. Yeah.
And totally. Mike Tyson looked great. Everyone was talking about, man, he looks good. He looks good. He looks like he's in good. He looks good. He looks good. The body's looking right. But being in shape and being in ring shape are 2 different things. So you're right. To go 8 rounds, even if they're 2-minute rounds, with 14-ounce gloves on, by the way, that's a victory for Mike. And you know what? Roy Jones, man, I love Roy Jones Jr. I think he's one of the most incredible boxers of all time. He could have his own wing. you know what I mean, in boxing history, how dynamic he was in multiple weight classes. But he sounded like such a hater, man, on the commentary. I don't like, he's biting his mouthpiece. I don't like it. I don't like it. Why is he, something with the oxygen, you know, his legs. I don't like how his legs look. His legs
don't look good.
He's 58, Roy.
You know what, man? The commentators, sometimes I think they just don't know what their job really is. They don't know they're supposed to be promoting the fight. They actually feel like they should be in the fight. Roy looking for a rematch.
Look, Roy
looking for one more payday. That's what he's looking for.
It wasn't only Roy. It was like Roy, Lennox, Vander maybe. They were all trying to figure out a way to talk themselves into something.
You know, God bless Vander Holyfield, but I don't think he knew what the hell he was.
Well, you know what else? And look, love to Evander. He's been on the show before. Also, love to Cedric the Entertainer. I don't know if Cedric the Entertainer knew what the hell he was wearing.
No, I mean, it looked
like Mike came to him to make a wish to get to the end of that fight.
Fantastic voyage. That's what he looked like he was going on. Went lakeside. Fantastic voyage back in the day, man. I swear.
He looked like he was trying to replace Will Smith in the Aladdin sequel.
I thought at one point he was going to say, "Open sesame."
I thought he was going to try to replace Will in the Aladdin sequel. You know what I mean? I don't know what was going on, man.
Open sesame. No, man, but I got to work my way on one of them shows. I think I can fit in. I think look here, if those guys can get booked, I surely can get booked. I was on Sports Center this week.
I want to talk about that. Yeah, we got to go to a break.
I was on Sports Center this weekend. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Can you dig it, sucker? And this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about sex. Hey, you remember when you was always ready to go? I'm talking about strapping the rocket on it, man. Going straight to the moon. I'm talking about getting it done. If you want that extra confidence, I got something for you. Listen up. Blue Chew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, but in a chewable tablet at the fraction of the cost.
But the great thing, Book, is you can take it any time, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days.
The best part, guys, it's all done online on the internet. So there's no doctor's visit, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at a pharmacy or any of that.
And the thing is, Book, Blue Chew's tablets, they're made right here in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package, so no one is the wiser.
You know, let's just get it out there, guys. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. It's like this. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew absolutely free when you use promo code Booker at your checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping, man. That's BlueChew.com. Use promo code Booker to receive your first month absolutely free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And, you know, we want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the Hall of Fame podcast. Chew it and do it. Boom. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ with my man, Brad Gilmore. And we got to talk about, what went down this weekend. Of course, not just the Mike Tyson fight, the undercard, the Mario Barrios versus Ramos, man. That fight right there for me was the one that, I don't know. I think that fight might have stole the card. And I was talking about that fight with Brad before the show actually kicked off. Mario Barrios, Ramos, as well on that card, man.
It was close.
Man, that was a knockdown, drag out. Mario Barrios. I mean, I love this dude. I love him. But I tell you, man, if he get touched on the chin, he could go. He could go real quickly. But I tell you, he bit down on his mouthpiece, and what a hell of a fight. Fight of the night. Fight of the night. The ladies rocked it too. That cut, man.
Woo, buddy.
God, man. Oh man, she looked like a filet mignon. I'm serious, man. Bloody. You know what I mean? Raw, man. Don't even put it on the grill. That's what she looked like. And I tell you, man, you know what? Netflix, even though with the mishaps and whatnot, it was a pretty good card. It was a pretty good card.
Yeah, I will say the Mario Barrios.
It almost had that same feel. I'm sure for the people in there that Kimbo sliced out of 5,000. You know, I'm serious. Just the atmosphere. You know, being out among all the stars. It's a great night for the people. So yeah, man, it had to be pretty awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean, I want to say first about that Barrios Ramos fight. I mean, Ramos was set up to kind of just go out there and take a L, right? I mean, that's what this fight was set up for. No. Hold on. Because all they were talking about was, you know, Mario's, he's now a proven champion. He's in the best shape he's been in. He's, focused. He's ready. He's a new dad. He's got new this. You know, he's bigger. He's stronger. He's faster. His technique's better. And Ramos looked like he was proving that prophecy for them for the first 6 rounds. And all of a sudden, this man woke up. He woke up and realized what was on the line. It was a championship. Now, the fight ended in a draw, which, is very Texas State Athletic Commission-y. I love my people in Texas, but, sometimes some weird results come up with that athletic commission.
No, I get what you're saying, but Ramos, I've seen that story many, many times. He's just a slow starter. I mean, but as far as being a great technical boxer, I'm talking about there are levels to this game, and Ramos he's an B plus A level fighter. He could beat anybody on any given night if he touch you with that right hand. And I tell you, Barrios looked great. He looked great, but Barrios always looks great at the beginning of the fights. With Tank Davis, he had Tank Davis on his heels pretty much until he got hit. And then he had to raise up off the gas a little bit. Even going down, he got back up, and he was still pressing the gas against Tank Davis. That's just the way Mario Barrios fight. But all in all, it was a great fight.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who was it that we saw Barrios fight. Fabian Maidana, right? We saw that earlier this year when he fought Maidana at T-Mobile in Vegas on the same night as Canelo. And remember what we said at the end of the fight? We looked at each other and be like, man, it doesn't look like Mario won that fight just based on his face.
Yeah.
How much abuse he took. And he took a lot of abuse here. Now, when you talk about Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, again, to me, I understand how a fight can end in a draw. I can understand it, right? Doesn't mean I like it. I feel like there's got to be something in boxing to make these things not end in a draw because it's so frustrating.
I think that fight was really, really hard to judge.
It was hard. I understand.
It was so hard to judge. You know what I mean? Because Serrano, she definitely, had more of the power punches. But Katie Taylor, man, she was throwing a barrage. She was unloading every time she got a chance.
Lefts, rights, and foreheads.
Look here, that's part of the game. And when you get a lefty and a righty in there, that's always going to happen. That's just part of the game. My thing is, I think that fight is warranted a rematch.
I do too.
Run it back one more time. We got to have a triple threat just one more time with that one right there, because I think the people would love to see it just one more time. Seriously, because it was a war, man. The ladies, they could have easily stopped that fight. You know what? They should have stopped that fight.
There was a point where I thought that they perhaps
they should have stopped that fight, but that's the warrior right there, and the ladies going out there and doing battle. I tell you, man, don't get no better than that.
Also, really. Man, the women went out there. They just threw. And you could really make the argument that they stole the show, especially Amanda Serrano battling back from that. That was a nasty eye.
Oh, like I say, it could have easily been the fight of the night as well.
Both those fights were really good. And then you had the main event.
Yeah.
which which wasn't. I mean, look, by any stretch of the imagination, we can't sit here.
The first fight was pretty good too with the YouTubers.
I think I missed that. I think I came in right as Barrios was coming in.
One guy was from India. He was just this YouTuber from India, but he had hands, man. He had tough hands. He was going to get the Spanish kid. I'd never seen him before, but it was still a pretty good fight. Entertaining. Let's just say that. Entertaining.
But let me ask you this about Jake Paul, Mike. Now, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it was a hoax, a farce, waste of an evening, blah, 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 blah." You know, a lot of the criticism, but we knew this was coming in. I think the only show that I honestly heard have an honest conversation from the announcement of Tyson versus Paul up until the night that it occurred was this show. We're the only people who said the whole time, like, we know what this is. Like, we know what's going to happen. We know what it is. No reason to get bent out of shape about it.
I'll tell you, man, I had so many of my guys, man, some of the boys, a lot of the boys. You would not believe how many of them really thought Mike Tyson was going to go out there and knock out Jake Paul.
That's their heart, man. That's
what literally, I'm talking about a consensus of probably 95% of the guys that I talked to thought that Mike, and I'm sitting here, I had to sit them down and then go over it, like play by play and, piece by piece and tell them, look, guys, this is exactly what's going to happen and why. And, now, I'm sure I'm going to, see those guys and we're going to talk about it, but that just goes to show you, man, when you playing with your heart on your sleeve, man, you could lose a hell of a lot of money. I'm serious. You never want to do that. You never want to bet when your heart is involved. That's a losing battle every time. Seriously.
No, I 100% agree with you. And I'm telling you, I have one of my good friends, Emerson, was like, hey, if Mike Tyson does not win this fight, it's a complete farce. It's rigged 100%. And I was like, dude, 27 versus 58. You don't even need to look at anybody. Don't even look at the names.
You know what? I think the young cats that just don't know what it feels like to be 58, they could play.
But Book, tell me if you agree with this. Because if you took the name Mike Tyson away, right, and you took the name Jake Paul away, and you said a 27-year-old boxer is actually going to end up fighting a former professional boxer who's 58 years old. You take the names away and you ask people who's going to win. People say the 27-year-old 99% of the time. But when you throw Mike Tyson out there, his name comes with such a stature, with nostalgia, with a legacy, with a legend behind it that people convince themselves to do it. It's like if you were to ask people right now, like, hey, let's just take Logan Paul just to have it. I could be off base on this, but it's like, a young man, I'm trying to think of a good comparison. Take Bronny James, okay? Bronny James, and say he's going to play one-on-one with Michael Jordan. Now, Michael's what? In his early 60s, mid-60s by now?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Michael's legs are the same that they were? But if you say one-on-one, oh, Mike's going to get him, man. Mike's going to get him.
Yeah, at least that's what you want.
That's what you want.
Because that's that feeling you got. You go back to those days when you saw Mike doing it at his height, at his peak. In his prime, and
nobody could touch him.
Exactly. So I get it. I totally get it, but I knew, I wouldn't say I knew. I felt like Mike Tyson didn't have much of a chance going into this fight just because of the age difference, just because of the medical setbacks, whatnot, the aging bones, the calcium buildup, the osteoporosis, the arthritis, a lot comes with getting older, guys. I just look like this. I'm the exception.
I'm like, how do you start putting yourself over? We're talking about Mike. Keep it on Mike.
See, but I'm not taking punches. I know we're coming up on another break. I was on ESPN Sports Center this week.
We want to talk about it.
I was on Sports Center. That's what we need to be talking about. That's what all the people are talking about. All over the world, the people are talking about Booker T on Sports Center. When is he getting his own show? When is it coming? Is it coming in the fall? Is it coming in the summer? Is it coming next week? When is it coming? We'll talk about that. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Can you dig it, sucker?
All right, everyone, it's Booker T and Brad Gilmore here, and we've got something exciting for all you sports, comedy, music, and theater fans out there. We're talking about Game Time, the fastest, easiest way to get your hands on tickets to your favorite events.
That's right, Book. We love all those spontaneous, unforgettable moments, and Game Time is here to make them happen. Whether it's a last-minute decision to see a game or a sudden urge to catch a live show, Game Time has got you covered, giving fans access to tickets even at the last minute in over 60 cities across the United States and Canada.
Hey guys, this ain't about getting in. This is about getting the best seats in the house. With Game Time, you can see images of your seat before you buy it. So no surprises there, guys. You can score tickets swiftly. Skip the line, guys. Just dive straight into the moment.
Absolutely. And listen to this. Game Time guarantees the best prices. Find tickets in the same section in row for less elsewhere. Game Time will give you a credit of 110% of the difference. So there's no reason to wait, Book.
So whether it's the thrill of the game, the laughter of the comedy, the rhythm of the music, or the drama of the theater, guys, don't let the opportunity skip by. Choose Game Time. Grab your tickets and just enjoy the moment.
Live should be spontaneous, Book. So guys, don't miss out. Check out Game Time now on their app or at gametime.co. That's gametime.co.
Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code BOOKER for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Lowest price. Gee, guarantee. Oh, yes. Boom. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. I know we got to talk about UFC 309 with that boy John Jones, Stipe Miocic, heavyweight extravaganza. But yeah, I was on Sports Center this weekend. I was on Sports Center, you know what I mean, chopping it up, you know, giving some of my expert knowledge, you know, as a contributor. Yes, and it was a great night. It was a great night. It was a great day. You know what? And the thing is, I felt like it's something that should be happening all the time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm talking about.
I hear you.
I'm talking about like on a weekly basis, something like that should be happening. You know, my face should end up on Sports Center or perhaps, you know, on platform, on show, something. But I don't know if you saw it or not, but raving reports.
Raving reviews for Booker T over there on Sports Center. Yeah, I mean, you were talking about UFC 309 with John Jones, but yeah, tell me about it. Walk us through it, because look, Booker and I think both, is probably maybe almost every guy watching this show right now is a Sports Center fan.
Mm-hmm.
And who didn't grow up and still to this day, like, you know, some people they turn on something, I don't know, just to have on in the background.
Yeah.
Me, it's like I flip on ESPN, just leave it running. Whatever's on there.
Wake up in the morning, boom. That's what
it's on there. Yeah. You know, I'm seeing Stephen A going crazy. I'm seeing something happen, right?
Yeah.
So, and we all know, da-na-na, everybody knows this.
Yeah.
So how did it feel going from viewer to participant? What was it like?
I'm still giddy, man. I'm serious. I really am. I'm still giddy to have seen my face, you know, on Sports Center. I mean, talking about something that I love more than anything, fight game. I'm so passionate about it. I got so much knowledge in my head about the fight game. I don't know. As a kid coming up, I always wanted to be Muhammad Ali. I just wanted to piece of, you know, what, you know, he went through in his life. I never got a chance to do that. I trained to box. Never got a chance to do it before I went to professional wrestling. But to be on Sports Center, to be on ESPN Sports Center, it's like a dream come true that I never had. Like you say, it's something that's been a part of our lives. Seemed like forever.
Yeah.
Right. And so for me, it's almost like, you know, kind of like when I used to wrestle, I always say it was like an out of body experience. I used to be able to sit back and watch what what the fan want to see opposed to what I want to do. And it was the same way. I say, okay, I got to act a certain way. I got to talk a certain way. I got to look a certain way. I got to be presented a certain way. So I had to step outside of myself to actually look at myself to actually deliver it properly. So it's kind of crazy if you understand what I'm saying.
No,
right
I
now.
get you. I get you. It's that imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
That I think we have a lot. I mean, I would say this book, because 2024 has been a year of a lot of big stuff, for you, for me, for reality of wrestling, for the Hall of Fame. But I will never forget, talk about imposter syndrome, and not to be too self-congratulatory to the both of us at all, but I just want to say this.
Why not? Congratulations.
I know, what I'm saying, because we want to talk about UFC 309. But I will never forget getting that email that says, hey, Brad Gilmore, we want to officially welcome you to the Walt Disney Company, and then click here to sign your ESPN contract or whatever. And I was like, huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And I remember we're on the phone. We're like, is this happening? Are we doing this? This is cool.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
It's amazing, right? Yeah.
And you know what it's all from? It's all from the people.
It's all the people, man. People, seriously. We want to thank all you guys for making this happen, man. It's growing, man. It's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger like a snowball going downhill, man. It's getting faster, stronger. So just stay tuned, man. Just stay tuned. 309,
Talk about
MSG. Also, that's why I went into the Hall of Fame. I just want to throw that out there. John Jones.
Great class, too.
Yeah, what?
You, Trish, Bruno, Backlund,
Yeah.
Foley.
Yeah.
President
John Jones versus Stipe. That fight went exactly the way I said it was going to go, right?
Yes.
I said I said this fight was going to go pretty much. I said 3 rounds.
Did.
Just because John Jones, he's a great fighter. But Stipe Miocic, 42 years old, being off over 3 years. I thought that was his biggest setback more than anything. I thought that time off was going to be his worst enemy, but I thought it was the smartest decision that he ever could have made, staying out for that 3 years. His body didn't take any punishment for 3 years. Came back and made the biggest payday that he's ever made in his UFC career. Smart, very, very smart. I wonder if Stipe had, wondered if he could actually win that fight himself, just because it didn't look like he was trying to win it. It seemed, I could be wrong.
No, yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
But it seemed like Stipe Miocic went in there to put on a good showing, but it did not seem like I don't know, maybe he was thinking about the later rounds, thinking about round 4, round 5, the championship rounds, getting to that point, not wanting to be in those deep waters and drowning in those deep waters, trying to preserve as much energy as he possibly can. Time off is your worst enemy, ring rust, of course. I don't know. It just did not seem like he was into it the way John Jones was. And the thing is, John Jones, to me, at 37 years old, in the heavyweight division, it seemed like he has lost a half of a step. And I remember you talking about a half a step to John Jones. That's really not going to be a whole lot. And it proved that it wasn't a whole lot, because he was able to land all of his kicks, as well as that spinning back kick, that spinning signature back kick.
Oh, man.
To so many people, so many times inside the octagon to stop him. So he still got all the tools, as well as he still looked like he's the greatest fighter in the world right now at 37 years old.
Right now, yes. And we were talking on ESPN radio nationally about this fight. And I think the comment you're referring to, as I said, if Usain Bolt lost a half second on his 40 meter, he's still the fastest man in the world. And yes, John Jones, I do think 37 is close to that 40 mark, no matter how great you are. Father Time waits for no man is how you say it. And I can see the point that you were making. But to go back to Stipe for just a brief moment, yes, this was the smartest decision Stipe could have made. Because if Stipe came back, let's say last year, fought Tom Aspinall, what do you think the result of that fight was going to be? Tom Aspinall probably walk out of there with a W. Right. See how vicious this guy is. Young, hungry. He's a lion. He goes out there and wins. That means there's no John Jones payday for Stipe, right? That goes out the window if he fights Tom Aspinall and loses. So he's like, look, I'm going to wait for Jones to be ready. I'm going to cash in on this money. Win or lose, I still win, right? And it looks like that's it for Stipe. I saw all the thank you Stipe posts going around. According to BetMGM, these are all estimated. They don't include any piece of the back end, of the gate, of the pay-per-view, any of that. but the estimated salary for Stipe Miocic was $4.2 million for that fight, right? Which would probably be the biggest payout he's gotten for a single fight in UFC career. So yeah, I think it was a good idea to take the fight for Stipe.
No, like I say, it was smart. I know a lot of people, wonder why he was out for that amount of time, but I kind of figured, if the fight was going to get made, he was going to stick around and wait for that fight. And John Jones pretty much threw it out there, said Stipe was next. So I don't give a hoot. I'm waiting. At $4.2 million, I don't want to see that go out. I do not want to, mess that up in any way, shape, form. So I'm gonna stick around and wait on it. But I tell you, Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira.
Yeah,
rough night for Michael Chandler. Rough night.
Rough 4.5 round.
No, but the guy's a warrior, man. He's a true octagon warrior, man. I mean, all the way from Bellator to the UFC, he's done nothing but go out there and prove his mettle inside that cage. And you're talking about a live dog. He was a live dog all the way to the end of that fight, and he proved it in the 5th round when he almost got Oliveira out of there. I tell you what, man, Oliveira, his plan was perfect. But I tell you, he looked stronger. He looked like the better fighter for 4 rounds, for 4.5 rounds. He looked like the better fighter. It seemed like he was going to cruise to victory. It seemed like he was going to stop Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler, this is actually the worst I've seen Michael Chandler look inside the octagon. And I wonder if it's, just say, for instance, when they first threw him inside the octagon, they threw him against Dan the Hangman Hooker.
Mm-hmm.
And he went out there and bam, dusted the Hangman off just like that. And from that day on, he's been fighting nothing but dogs. So I'm wondering, is he just putting too much on his plate? I do not see Michael Chandler winning the UFC championship. I don't see it happening.
Well, I mean, he had that opportunity at first with Charles Oliveira, right? Remember back in Houston, that was during the pandemic, UFC 263, 262, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Michael Chandler had the opportunity to be a lightweight champion, and he got stopped in the 2nd round by the same guy.
But he came so close.
Oh no, that's the thing about him, man. He looks good at some point in all of his fights. I agree with you. This is the worst that he looked. Maybe the best that he looked was against Dan Hooker. And I'm glad you say he didn't dust the Hooker off. You said the Hangman. I appreciate you for saying that. But yeah, as far as Michael Chandler goes, look, he's won 1 fight in his last 5.
But you had to go say dust the hook off.
I had to say it.
You had to say it.
Because you wanted to say it, and then you stopped yourself. Because you heard it in your head before you said it. But I just want to tell you, I appreciated you.
But you just had to go and say it. Huh?
But I had to say it. He dusted the Hooker off, man.
That's messed up, man.
But he almost did it.
We got to take a break, man. You're making me go over time. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Booker T here alongside Brad Gilmore on the Hall of Fame podcast. Man, the NBA playoffs are rolling, and I'm pumped up about the matchups we're seeing. Imagine sitting courtside, feeling that playoff intensity.
Hey everybody, Brad Gilmore here with the one and only Booker T, and today we're not just talking about wrestling, we're talking about something that's changed the game for both of us personally, and that's Mando whole body deodorant.
Yeah, that's right, Brad. You know, the most valuable thing in the world could be that #1 draft pick or home field advantage throughout the playoffs, but you know what? Second time.
Absolutely, Book, and let me tell you, managing body odor, that used to eat up a lot of time. Always worrying about it, especially around midday, but not anymore since we started using Mando.
Yeah, but tell them why, Brad.
Well, Mando isn't like those other deodorants that just mask the odor with heavy fragrances. Mando stops odor at the source. It blocks bacteria on your skin from breaking down sweat, which, by the way, is what really causes that BO.
And it's clinically proven to control that odor for up to 72 hours. Now that's long-lasting, man.
It really frees up so much time since switching to Mando. I've even perfected my half-court shot, believe it or not.
man. That's awesome. And let me add, I've been using Mando everywhere. Pits, grundles, and even those stinky crevices. We all got it's aluminum-free, cruelty-free, dye-free, and vegan. Designed by a doctor who knew what was up about body odor, man.
And for our listeners, we got something special. New customers can get $5 off the Mando starter pack. That's over 40% off. Just use our code Booker at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com.
Use shopmando.com. Check out their starter pack. Brad and I would not steer you wrong.
With Mando, you're really taking care of your body odor anywhere and everywhere. Give it a try and let us know what you think.
All right, now back to wrestling. But remember, control your body odor anywhere, anytime with Mando, and save big with the promo code Booker at shopmando.com. Boom, welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. This is our last segment here. We got to get out of here early here today. We got some super chatters. I know we want to get to them, Bradley, right?
We do.
Right.
We do got to get to our super chatters. We have to get to them. So let's go to them right now here. If you have a chat, make sure you throw it in. And we're going to go with
Super Chat.
Eddie Kane Main, number 1 here. He said Fly Def is trying to catch up to Booker T's 5 times.
Hey, man, 5-time champ. Give it up for Fly Def, man. Those guys been working hard at Reality of Wrestling, trying to make it to that next level. And I tell you, they're in the right place right now at the right time. So we're going to see exactly what's going to be the outcome. What's the future of Warren J, Zach Zilla.
Right.
We're gonna change Zach Zilla's name. We're just gonna call it. We got to change that, right?
I mean, that's your call. He used to be Zach Mason. Now he's Zach Zilla.
Well, we got to do something. Yeah. But those kids have definitely got great futures ahead of them. Definitely.
Well, you mean Fly Def?
Let me tell you right now, if you haven't watched Reality of Wrestling, guys, make sure you tune in. Make sure you catch up on your Reality of Wrestling. I want to thank our subscribers, man. I think they've gotten us up to 814,000 subscribers on our way to 900K. So we appreciate you guys. You don't mess with my little privates, man.
We do appreciate all of you guys. Mike Woodson says Bones Jones is back, baby. And Jake Paul calling out Canelo. Come on. But then again, I want to see it. He did say at the end of the fight, Canelo, he needs me more than I need him. If you want to make some money, or if you want to do it, you know where the money man's at, something like that.
The fight I want to see, man, is John Jones and Peretta. I think that's a money fight. And if Jones get past that, which I think he can, he moves on to Aspinall and call it a day. That's the way I see John Jones wrapping this thing up.
I think Dana said he doesn't want to make the Pereira fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying one thing.
I would want to see it too.
One thing about John Jones, I don't think he want to make that fight because right now Alex Pereira, he's a cash cow. I mean, he's the money guy. He's the face of the UFC right now. I wouldn't want to mess that up either. But I think the people will want to see that, as well as John Jones. I think he would want something like that to cash out and ride off into the sunset. And normally, what John Jones wants, John Jones gets. Yeah.
No, I hear you on that, and to me, it'd be such an interesting dynamic. And I like Jones' chances always, and Pereira. I mean, that would be a hard one. I think that would be a hard one to figure out.
The kicking battle would definitely be interesting. Yeah, it would definitely be interesting.
Dog, man, would it be interesting? Let's see our next one here.
I really think one thing I do think Pereira, from a wrestling side, he would get dominated.
Well, let me ask you this though: Canelo and Jake Paul, any interest there?
Not really. But I think
that's a one-sided affair.
No, but I think that'll be a great, entertaining fight for the people. Jake Paul don't want none of that smoke. I'm telling you that right now. None of that.
Why would he want to do that?
Well, I mean, if he wants to end his boxing reign.
Yeah, I mean, that would be it, right?
But I don't think he wants none of Canelo. Canelo's way too young, way too experienced. I mean, he's a sniper. He would go out there and take Jake Paul apart piece by piece, and it would be surgical. Oh, yes, man.
It would be surgical. We have to see what would happen there. We see our next one comes from Hefe Pilot. I've been watching the Hall of Fame podcast all day, every day, learning the game. I appreciate you, OG King Huka and BG, for dropping so much knowledge. I'm ready to train soon. Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Get on down to Reality of Wrestling, 9300 Emmett F. Lowry Expressway, the Walker, Texas Lawyer Arena, man. And we'll teach you a little something about the biz. Oh, yes, man.
There we go. There we go. Our next one comes from Jake from Windy City. Book, congrats on Roe being involved in WWID. When they first pitched it to you, were you skeptical at first, or were you all in from the start?
Preparation is the only luck you're ever going to have in this world, in this life that we're living in. I've been preparing for this WWID program for almost 20 years now, 19 years. We're a year away from 20 years.
It's crazy.
With reality of wrestling. And we've been thinking about the training methods. We've been thinking about, where these young guys are going to go to actually get to that next level. But I was thinking about in 2005, I was thinking about doing online classes. I just didn't have the capabilities back in 2005.
I remember you talking about that.
I'm serious.
We had a Row app. You were like, man, we could do a master class.
Exactly my point. So this is something that I've been thinking about for many, many years, and I'm so glad to see it come to fruition.
It's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be awesome to continue to develop with the WWID program. Obviously, more news coming out about that every single day. And again, congratulations to Ice Williams, who came through Reality Wrestling Super Sunday and got that ID designation. Cali Toenail, the one and only, says, I'm thinking Seth is going to take the 5th spot in War Games. If not, who could you see in that spot? Also, good interview with Bailey. I got to have Bailey on CW 39 on Friday. She might win it all. Bailey could be a good contender to win the Royal Rumble again. But what do you think, Book, about the War Games? Seth Rollins, is he going to join the rest of Roman, Sammy, and the Usos to be the 5th guy? Because we saw the man who is the ruler of the tsunami, he joined the bloodline temporarily, at least.
Yeah. I saw that. But I'm not going to sit here and lie or try to make something up. Try to act like I've been watching a whole lot of what's been going on with Seth Rollins. I'm not. But I tell you, War Games. What a night! What a fight! I was just looking at today. It just came up on my Twitter feed. They're doing they were doing a story on when Triple H got hurt in that match when RVD came off
Elimination Chamber. I watched that today too.
Hit him and I said, man, somebody's gonna get effed up in this match. And I was talking to Hunter, and he just happened to be the recipient. It's a life-changing experience going through a matchup like that. So good luck to Seth Rollins if he does become that guy, because I'm tripping.
Usually War Games and Elimination Chamber, but they are similar.
Yeah. But
because the War Games was the answer to
exactly.
I mean, the Elimination Chamber was the answer to the War Games.
Yeah. That's how far I'm, like I say, I hadn't been watching a whole lot of Raw. I've been in NXT, man. Ask me some NXT questions.
I have one for you. When are we going to continue our NXT guests on the show? We should bring that back. That was good. I saw something pop up today of Jada Parker.
I tell you what, we'll get somebody on next week.
We'll get somebody on next week.
How about that?
A special interview. I love it.
How about that? We'll get somebody on next week.
I love it. Let's go to our next one here. This is Austin Hecketzweiler. There's a reining school in Illinois near me, but all I want to do is learn and train with you guys. All I ever wanted to do was come join as a referee if you're training them next year.
Oh, yes, man. Of course, we're training referees on a regular basis. We're always looking for referees, because I'm going to tell you, that job is not as easy as one would think. You definitely have to know the ins and outs of the guys that's in there on a regular basis doing it. You got to actually know exactly what that role is. So you're going to have to go through that just as well. You're going to learn the wrestling moves and holds and all of that. Along with being a referee, because if you have a chance to make it to WWE as a ref, man, I'm gonna tell you, that's a whirlwind, man. That's a whirlwind trip, because going around the world, seeing it from that perspective is pretty damn awesome, as well as being one of the guys that's doing it. You just don't have to take as many bumps. That's the best part.
Well, and not only that, but longevity.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I mean. Yeah, look at guys like Nick Patrick, that did that job for so many years. Charles Robinson, guy that did that job for so many years and got a chance to see just as much and have a hell of a career at the same time.
And Robinson's still going, man.
Still going.
And yeah, if you want to train to be a referee, we got some great refs right now, and also some WWE refs sometimes come down and help Jason Ayers. Big shout out to Jason Ayers, who's been coming to the shows and just helping out when he can on his off time. You know what I mean? That just means so much to all of us at Reality Wrestling.
Really does.
And so I always want to make sure I give a big shout out to Jason for doing that. But yeah, man, come on down. Look, how many calls have you gotten in the last month of people moving to Houston, Texas? How many? Half dozen or more?
At least 10 people.
At least 10. See, there we go.
At least 10 people, yeah.
Uprooting their lives to come to Houston, Texas, the greatest city in the greatest state in the greatest country, to learn how to be a professional wrestler, ring announcer, a commentator, a referee, the whole 9 yards. We do it all. It's an institution. It's not just a school. It's an institution. You know what I mean? They don't say the school of Houston. They say the University of Houston, right?
Yeah,
there's a plethora of information that is offered. We offer a plethora of information at Reality Wrestling.
Get some, want some, baby. I'm gonna tell you, we open 5 days a week.
That's right.
We one of these schools that just open on Wednesdays. No, man, we 365 all year long, man. It's a 2-year course. Because I don't think you can learn wrestling in 3 months, 6 months. Wrestling is a lifetime. It really, truly is of learning. And if you want to be the best, you got to put literally your heart and soul into it. So, guys, come on down to Reality Wrestling if you want to be perhaps the next big superstar.
Superstar, baby.
Superstar.
We had one come in real quick, and then we got to wrap. Shinsuke Nakamura is exactly what LA Knight needs. The different styles are going to mesh well together. I'm glad he's back. Shinsuke and LA Knight. Yeah, I like that combination as well.
I like that matchup as well because LA Knight needs something to spark his flame again. Seemed like he's gone dim just a little bit. Seemed like that star has dimmed just a little bit. So I think Shinsuke Nakamura would definitely be the right person. I love Shinsuke. I love everything about it. He's that silent killer. He's that assassin. He's that ninja. Oh yes, man. So yeah, I like that. Any more
yeah. That's it.
We got to get up out of here, man. I want to thank everybody for stepping inside the Hall of Fame, getting your champagne wishes, caviar dreams, Bradley, for all the heavy lifting. As always, and until next time, peace. We love you. And we out. Oh, yeah.